Welcome to the Unapologetic She, a space for you, a space for me, which means this is a space for us. Y'all, it's been getting exhausting. Like, I'm very tired. If you have a teacher friend or a friend that you know is an educator in a school building or is involved with anything in school, go give them a hug.
Ooh, it's a pandemic.
They don't like hugs. Maybe don't hug them, but extend grace, because y'all, us educators are tired. But that's neither here nor there. I hope you all are doing so well. Today I want to talk about a few things that nobody told me before I got my locks. Now, I also wasn't looking and walking around and asking for people's opinions about locks because it wasn't necessarily something that I thought that I was going to do as fast as I did. But there are 3 things that I wish somebody somewhere in the lock community, whether it be online, whether I would have done my own research, would have let me know before I did this thing up here. Number 1, the frizz is wild. So I did not know about the whole frizzy period of your locks, and I didn't know that this period lasted so long. So of course, as you can see me going through my hair, I do have an old retwist, or this retwist is like 4 weeks old now. So of course there is some frizz in the roots, but other than that, I did not realize that as time went on, your hair gets frizzier as it goes until it reaches a mature phase. So mature phase meaning you can touch your locks, they're hard, they're not squishy, you don't have like a spongy feeling in between your fingers when you do feel those locks. But I didn't realize the frizz was going to be to the point where like I get frustrated with it. When I wash my hair, of course it gets frizzy, my roots get frizzy, but the length of the lock gets so frizzy, or it was getting very frizzy at one point. Now, because I am further down the line in my lock journey, they don't get as frizzy, which is fine. It's great, it's wonderful. But like, nobody told me that I would be dealing with frizz. I thought I left that when I left the loose natural life, but I guess I didn't. So if you need to know this, or if you want to lock your hair, frizz is a part of it. Just embrace it. Love the frizz, because it's not going to go anywhere. The second thing that I wish somebody would have told me before I got my locks is do not put lock jewelry in your starter locks. Now, I'm sure somebody somewhere did say this, and I probably was just like, oh, it's fine. Like, it's lock jewelry. I want my locks to look cute. But that lock jewelry, especially those metal pieces that sometimes go on the end of shells, or the ones that you have to stick in your lock, can damage your lock. So sometimes what happens, you're putting little holes into your locks at the end of them, or wherever you're sticking your lock jewelry in. And then what can happen, it'll keep growing, and around that part it might thin out, or whatever the case is. Y'all know I'm afraid of breaking or breakage from my locks. I'm afraid of all that stuff. So be careful with lock jewelry when you first start out. I do have a few locks that have like a little bit of a hole at the bottom where I did stick a shell in there from when I first got my locks or whatever, or when I first cut off my lock extensions, and I thought it was really cute. But just beware, you can put holes in your locks with lock jewelry before they're mature. So just be mindful when you do that. And the last thing that I really wish somebody would have told me was this parting system thing, like explaining all of that to me, because I am someone who does their own lock maintenance. I don't go to someone else to take care of my locks. I wash my own locks, I retwist them, all of that fun stuff. And because I do all of that on my own, I don't necessarily, or I'm unable to see the back sometimes. It's pretty difficult for me to know what's going on back there. And I don't think that I kept my parting system the same way that it was when I first got my hair locked. And that can be a little bit of a problem, because as you know, sometimes when you part your hair, or when you're trying to dig through the parts, when you're, breaking them up, because sometimes they do mat together because you haven't, taken care of your hair in a little bit, or you washed it and you didn't really go through your parts yourself. But what I did find is that because I can't see parts of my hair, I think that I've moved some of the pieces of hair or some strands into a different section of lock, which sometimes is not a huge deal, especially because I have thick locks, and with thicker locks, it's not as, it's a big deal, but it's not as big of a deal because your locks are already thick. That part where your lock is probably has a good amount of hair in it, but regardless, keeping your parting system is so important. So honestly, make sure that if you are doing your own lock maintenance, you have a mirror, you can see the back, you're not separating your parts or recreating your parts because you can't see them. Get help. Don't be like me. Sometimes I know we're all very weird about who's in our hair, who's doing what, but just make sure that you are not jacking up your parting system, because eventually you might have a lock that gets super, super thin. You don't have time for that. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for myself. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video, whenever that may be. It'll probably be in a couple of days. But tell your friends, tell your fans, because we popping over here. So yeah, have a good day. Peace.